She was pounding on my door. She was threatening to kill me, and I shot her. And I knew I shot her because she said, ow. And I thought I grazed her somehow. And I couldn't imagine where that shot went. I never even saw the shot. I mean, I was just so terrified. I remember I was shaking, I was crying. It was horrible.
A quiet neighborhood dispute. Kids playing outside, complaints about noise. But one confrontation would end with a gunshot through a closed door and a mother of 4 collapsing in front of her child. What started as a long-running neighborhood feud in Ocala would turn into one of the most shocking community tragedies of 2023. This is the case of Susan Lorincs and the death of Ajak A.J. Owens. Before the shooting, tensions had been building for months between the two neighbors. According to investigators and neighbors in the area, 58-year-old Susan Lorincs frequently complained about children playing near her home. The kids often gathered in the shared spaces around the apartment complex, something common in the neighborhood. But Lorincs reportedly grew increasingly hostile. Witnesses later told authorities that she regularly yelled at the children and repeatedly called police to complain about them playing nearby. Some neighbors also reported hearing her use offensive language during arguments with the kids. For Ajak A.J. Owens, a 35-year-old mother raising 4 children, the situation became deeply personal. Owens' family said the tension had gone on for months and that the children were often the focus of Lorincs' anger. Still, no one imagined the conflict would escalate into deadly violence on the evening of June 2, 2023. Children were once again playing outside in the neighborhood. Investigators say that at some point during the evening, Lorincs became upset and allegedly began throwing objects toward the children from her property. The situation quickly escalated when Owens learned what had happened. She walked over to Lorincs' house to confront her. What happened next would become the central focus of the investigation, according to police reports. Owens approached the front door of Lorincs' home. The door was closed and locked. Moments later, a single gunshot rang out. Lorincs fired a handgun through the closed door. The bullet struck Owens in the chest. The shooting happened in front of Owens' young son, who had followed her toward the house. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but Owens later died from the gunshot wound. The tragedy shocked the entire community. After the shooting, Susan Lorincs told investigators she acted in self-defense. Her legal defense centered around Stand Your Ground law, a controversial law in Florida that allows people to use deadly force if they reasonably believe they are in danger. Lorincs claimed she feared for her life during the confrontation, but investigators began examining key details that complicated that argument. According to police, the door to Lorincs' home was locked at the time of the shooting. Authorities also reported that Ajak Owens was unarmed. These details raised serious questions about whether the situation met the legal standard for self-defense. As the investigation unfolded, the case began attracting national attention. Many members of the public and Owens' family demanded accountability following days of investigation and growing public pressure. Authorities eventually arrested Susan Lorincs. She was charged in connection with the shooting death of Ajak Owens. During the trial, prosecutors argued that the evidence did not support a self-defense claim. They pointed to the locked door, the lack of weapons on Owens, and the history of conflict between the neighbors. The defense maintained that Lorincs believed she was in danger and reacted out of fear. Jurors were tasked with determining whether that belief was legally justified. After hearing testimony, reviewing evidence, and considering the law, the jury reached a decision in August 2024. The jury found Susan Lorincs guilty of manslaughter with a firearm. The conviction meant the jury rejected the self-defense argument. Soon after the verdict, the judge handed down the sentence. Lorincs received 25 years in prison for the killing of Ajak A.J. Owens. For Owens' family, the outcome brought a measure of justice. But it could not undo the loss of a mother, daughter, and community member. What began as a neighborhood dispute over children playing outside ended in a tragedy that devastated a family and shocked a community. The case remains a powerful reminder of how quickly everyday conflicts can spiral out of control and how the consequences can last a lifetime.